and welcome to this week's STEAM Challenge with the Alexander Hamilton Library. My name is Miss Afton, and because this is our last STEAM Challenge of October, we wanted to celebrate with a slightly creepy project in honor of Halloween. So today, we'll be building our very own Eiffel Towers. I was really proud of that name. So there are actually two parts to today's challenge. First, we're going to be making our own cement. Now, we're not making real cement, but traditional cement has been used for hundreds of years and actually made a huge difference in how people could build things in history. So instead of using heavy materials like just rocks and bricks and mortar, now builders could make structures that could hold lots of weight, but were still light enough that they could reach high into the sky or even go underwater. So today we're going to be making our cement by mixing a simple salt dough. Right, the second part of our engineering challenge today will be getting out a pack of eyeballs and building our towers as high as we can with our dough and eyes. So building with spheres, the shape of the eyeball, the 3D circle volume, isn't very easy. So let's see how tall your tower can go. All right, let's get started.
Okay, let's get started. So first, you might notice that our setup looks a little different today. Today we're going to be doing a lot of mixing, so we are looking down at our supplies. So first, for our ingredients, we're going to be making a smaller batch with our steam kits, but you are welcome to use your supplies at home and double this so that you have extra cement if you want, or triple or quadruple. It's up to you how much cement you want to use to build today. First, we're going to start with flour. We're going to use 1 cup of flour, and we're also going to use salt. So this is a salt dough that we're making today, so it needs lots of salt. Our recipe calls for 1/2 cup. The last thing we're also going to use is some water. Now you can see mine actually has some bubbles on top because there was a little bit of oil in my cup. You can just use plain water, and we're going to need 1/2 cup of water. So your salt and water will be the same, but your flour will be twice as much. You'll also need, if you want to add some color, you can use some food coloring at home, and you'll need a bowl and spoon to do your mixing. All right, so first we're going to add our dry supplies. That means we're going to take a whole cup of flour and put it in a bowl. Now mine is in a bag because it was measured in my steam kit. If you get one of our steam kits, yours will be measured out already as well. But if you're doing it at home, measure 1 full cup and slide across the top to make it even. Next, we're going to be mixing our salt in. So we have 1/2 cup salt. So remember, it is half the amount of the flour. When we have that in our bowl, then we're going to use my spoon. You can also use your hand, but we're going to mix that together until it looks like one. It really just looks like more like it's all flour now, right? But when it's all mixed together, then we're ready to add our water. So I'm going to measure out. I'm going to get my 1/2 cup, and you can see there's a little bit of salt in there. But I'm going to measure 1/2 cup of water. Warm water works best, right? And if you want to add color, now is the time to add color to your water. So it's a lot harder to add color once it's mixed in with your dry ingredients. So I'm going to add some color to my water. I'll take my spoon, give this a little stir, and I picked green because we're going for a creepy style today, so I thought it'd be fun to have green cement. All right, now I'm going to take my dry bowl, and I'm going to very carefully pour in my water. All right, we'll just pour it all in the middle, and now it's time to mix. So I'm just going to mix this together until it starts to be kind of pasty. Then the real fun will start, where I'm going to stop using my spoon and I'm going to start mixing by hand, because you can see it's really, really clumpy. So the best way to get rid of those clumps is to get your hands in there and just start squishing with your hands. But if you don't want to use your hands, you can use your spoon. You'll just have to be extra careful about those clumps. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get in there with my hands now. So I'll wipe off my spoon. And time to finish combining by squishing it with my hands. Now, yours might be like mine, where it might feel really sticky at first. The more you mix the flour in, the more that stickiness should go away. Now, if yours doesn't stop feeling sticky, you may need to add a little bit more flour to it. Right? But what we want today is we want a nice, squishy, soft dough. Oh, and you can see I've got lots of flour down in the bottom that I can keep adding. So maybe I'll break it into pieces and add to the small pieces. But what we want is a nice, soft dough for our next part, where we're going to be adding the eyeballs in to construct a tower. So I think I'm almost done. Let's speed things up a bit. All right, and now let's get started.
Okay, so now it's time to start building our towers. So you'll have your dough, which will serve as your cement today, and you'll also have from your steam kit a pack of eyeballs. Now you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyeballs, but in your steam pack you'll actually get a pack of 12. Miss Bailey and I were playing with this earlier, so we used 7 of the other eyeballs already. And if you don't use one of the library's steam kits, you can just find this 12 pack of eyes from the Dollar Tree in Wayne Heights. That's where we got ours. It's just $1. All right, so now let's get our space and our eyeballs ready. When you're using your dough, depending on your surface, so this is a play table at the library, so I'm not worried about it getting a little dirty because it's used to getting dirty and then cleaned off. You might want to lay a cloth or a paper down on your surface, or you can even sprinkle some flour so that your dough won't stick to the tabletop. All right, so now it's time to start building. Let's talk about some basic building principles. All right, so with my sphere, we've got a nice smooth shape with this eyeball. If I set this down, it may stay in place, but as soon as I go to set a second eyeball on top, well, it's clearly not going to stay there. So what we need to do is we need to use our dough cement to add mortar in between. To do that, you can use as big of pieces or as small of pieces as you want. Right? But think about the sphere shape. With a sphere, the hardest part in building is that there are no corners or sharp edges. So there's nothing for them to match together like normal bricks, how bricks lay on top of each other, and then they kind of can stay there. With a sphere, well, they're going to slide all around. So what we need to think about is providing a flat surface. So that might look like taking my eyeball and squishing it in a little bit. And then I'm going to squish the sides of my dough up around my eyeball. What that does is now my eyeball has a nice flat bottom because it's sitting in the dough, which is flat on the bottom to the table. And it can't roll anywhere because the dough is holding the sides in place. I'm going to do the same thing when I add my next eyeball. So I'll take some dough, as much or as little as you want. Now you can try different ways to do this. I might just take a sphere of dough and then squish it down. And before they get together, I'm going to squish the sides so that it will hold both eyeballs in place. So I'm doing that just so that it will start to creep up the side of the sphere. If I just set it on top,
It might stay for a while, but the taller my tower gets, the more it's going to want to roll to the sides. So having it go up the side a little helps to stop that rolling. All right, now you can keep going up, 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 as tall as you can make your tower. All right, you can also, once you do that, take your dough off. The fun thing about this is that you can reuse it. All right, we'll take the dough off, and you can also start building different shapes. So maybe I really want mine to look like the Eiffel Tower in Paris. So I can take another ball of dough, squish an eyeball down, and start building up together. I could also, ooh, that's nice and sticky. I could also start building, oh, this is going to be tough, branches off to the side of my tower, so I could start building in different directions. You might need to start packing your dough on the eyeballs differently if you do it different directions, or start building supports. So see if you can figure out, as your Eiffel Tower engineer, how you can build in different directions. Oh, I like that. I'm going to go back in the other direction now. All right, so this really is a fun, creative challenge for you. We'd like to see how tall your tower can get, but we'd also really like to see the different designs you come up with. So, and my dough's starting to get squishy, so I have to make sure that my bottom is steady. All right, so you can come up with lots of cool shapes and designs. All right, remember, you can share your designs with us. So share your building or your final product in the comments, or with me, Miss Afton, at afrancis@ahmfl.org to be entered to win this month's STEAM Challenge prize, which for Halloween, we have a chemistry set, so you can make all kinds of Halloween concoctions and witches' brews, lots of fun stuff. Oh no, my tower is falling. Ah! So maybe I need to go back and put some more cement. All right. And remember that you can get most of these supplies for free here at the library. Just stop in during library hours and go to the children's area. On this big purple table, you'll find your STEAM kits with most of our supplies for this week inside. You'll just need to provide water, measuring cups, and a bowl and spoon. So we hope that you enjoyed making an Eiffel Tower. We'd love to see it. All right, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Happy building!